Now we're back to talk once more about our search for the truth. If you remember last time, I talked about the truth being something that has to be looked for, and you have to do an intellectual and a real, true search for what the truth is. And we used a deck of cards, and we said that we had used the illustration of the King of Hearts being the truth, and that the truth is easy to see and understand when you just have that one truth that's there. But as the world and the people of the world start throwing in all these different ideas of what their thoughts are on the truth, or even maybe one is that there is no truth to be found, then your true truth, represented by the King of Hearts, gets kind of lost amidst all of the other things. And a real search has to be done in order to find the truth. Because we said, regardless of what people might say, you can't say that this card's a King of Hearts. You can't say that this one's a King of Hearts. King of Hearts representing truth. Only one of them is actually the King of Hearts. There's only one truth. And if you believe one way, you are right. And if you believe another way, you are wrong. Right? And so we talked about that. And I promised you that we would come back and talk about why I believe that Jesus is the truth. That Jesus, like he said himself, is the way, the truth, and the life. But before we get to that, let's talk a little bit more about why it's important to search for the truth, and not just to listen to what everybody else is saying. Find the truth for yourself, because there's been many examples of times when criminals have been put on trial, many of them on trial for their lives. And because of media exposure and so forth, the general population forms an opinion, and that opinion is that the person is guilty of this crime, just because of the things that they're seeing reported in the media and so forth. And so it's up to the investigators, it's up to the police, it's up to the attorneys to do a deep and thorough research of the evidence to find the truth. And many times in these cases, it's found out that the people accused of these crimes are innocent after all. Thank God that they searched for that truth and didn't just go with what the general population was saying. And it's similar in our world today, in our schools and in our workplaces. There's a lot of different thoughts out there about what is truth, or maybe that there's no truth at all. But it's up to us as individuals to really seek what is out there, what is the truth. I personally believe that Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life, just like he said, based on many reasons. But one of the most compelling things that I believe has convinced me of this is the behavior of his apostles and his disciples. If you look into the scripture, you'll see that Peter, one of Jesus' closest friends, an apostle, just before Jesus' death, was so afraid for his life that when Jesus was arrested, that he denied Jesus, not once, not twice, but 3 times. That's how fearful he was for his life at that time. It's also said that after Jesus was arrested, that his followers scattered. They were so afraid that they may be arrested and treated likewise that they scattered and went their own way. And then after Jesus' death, there was a small group of disciples who went into an inner room and they locked themselves in the room. And it said they locked themselves in the room because they were so afraid of the authorities. They thought that if they killed Jesus, certainly they were going to come back and kill them as well. And so they were locked in this room when Jesus appeared to them in a locked room. Now here's the thing. All of these apostles and disciples and followers of Jesus demonstrated a normal fear that any one of us would have if the person that we were following and learning from had been arrested and killed. But what's interesting is that all of these men, all of them, except for one, of the 12 apostles, only one of them did not die as a martyr. One died at his own hands, Judas, who betrayed him. But then the others all died because of their faith in Jesus. And not just because they believed the teachings of Jesus, but more importantly, they all died because they believed that they saw the resurrected Jesus in bodily form, speaking to them, eating with them, fellowshipping with them. That's pretty powerful when you stop and think about it. They didn't just die for an ideology. They didn't just die because they believed that he was a great teacher or even a prophet. No, these men initially scattered when he got arrested. They initially hid and locked themselves in rooms when he was crucified. But it was after the fact that they saw him and they spoke with him. And they were even able to touch him and feel the holes in his hands and his feet and in his side. It was because they saw this and experienced this in their lives that they were willing to die for their beliefs. They all died for their belief that they saw the resurrected Jesus alive and walking around the earth in bodily form. And they saw him ascend into heaven later on to go and sit at the right hand of the Father. And they could not deny this fact. And they would not deny this fact even if it meant their lives. So that's one of the reasons that Jesus is the King of my heart. That's why I believe that Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life.